Good morning, fifth graders in Mrs. Stewart's class. This worksheet was assigned yesterday, but many of you did not complete it. It is the vocabulary worksheet for the story 10 Mile Day. The answers are here in the box where it says check the words you know. The words are barren, deafening, lurched, previously, prying, and surveying. So these are the answers that we will put into the paragraph here. The directions say, choose the word from the box that best completes each sentence. Write the word on the line. Number 1, the wagon blank forward, swaying and almost throwing me out the back. So a word that means how it moves would be lurched. So I click in that blue box. I'm going to erase type here. I'm going to write lurched. And I don't want a capital. I know some of you don't like when the word is not on the line, so we can just move it down like that. All right. The wagon lurched forward, swaying and almost throwing me out the back. My father and mother sat on the driver's bench. Blank, the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains below us. So I need a word that means looking. They're looking at the hills, at the mountains below us. And a word that means looking would be surveying. Now, because that is the first word of the sentence, we need to make sure we use surveying with a capital. All right, and then we're going to keep reading. Like many immigrant families, we traveled west over miles of dry blank lands. So a word that means with nothing on it, empty, dry, empty lands, and that would be barren. Barren is not the first word in the sentence, so we will not use a capital. Everything we could take from our past or blank life back in Boston was now in our covered wagon. So let's read that again. Whoops. Like many immigrant families, we traveled west over miles of dry, barren lands. Everything we could take from our past or blank life back in Boston was now in our covered wagon. So a word that means past, and a word that means past is previous. So I erase type here. I'm going to write previous, and again, it's not the first word, so I don't want to use it as a capital. Blank gold from the earth to make our fortune. All right, so let's keep reading. Everything we could take from our past or previous life back in Boston was now in our covered wagon. We were headed to California to try our luck, blank gold from the earth to make our fortune. And that means I want to get the gold out. I want to pull it out of the earth, and that would be prying. When you're prying something, I know it sounds like crying, but when you pry something out of the earth, it means pull. All right, so that should be our answers here. And then I don't believe there's anything else on this, so we will go to slide number 2. And I'm going to take these circles and just move them so I can put them on the answers. And the circles say, circle the word that has the same or nearly the same meaning as the first word in each group. So the first word means prying. So prying means to pull or to take out. So does that mean extracting, attempting, bragging? And if you said extracting, you are correct. To extract is like when you're talking about when you get your tooth pulled. I had my tooth extracted. The doctor had to pry it out. So they mean nearly the same thing. Surveying is when we are wondering, planning, or measuring. Usually survey could mean measuring, or they're looking so they can see how big something is. You might see people surveying the land. They have like a special camera and they look through it when they're looking at the roads to see how flat they are, to see how long they are. Lurched, number 8. Does lurched mean fumbled, staggered, belched? Well, I automatically know that belched means to burp. And I know that lurched does not mean to burp. So that wouldn't make any sense. So let's take a look at our other choices. Our other choices are fumbled and staggered. So fumbled means to fall down, like in football. And staggered means to kind of sway back and forth. So lurched and swaggered, not swaggered, staggered would mean about the same thing. Deafening. Most of you know that deaf means you can't hear. So deafening means it's so loud that it makes you feel like you want to be deaf. And so deafening would mean the same as loud. Like the music at the concert was deafening, meaning it was so loud you couldn't, your ears hurt. You wanted to feel deaf. Previous. Does that mean sinister, related, or earlier? So if I did that previously, it means I already did it. So I did that earlier. So maybe I did it yesterday. So earlier would be a word that means something similar. I hope this helps, and I would like to see you in our live Google Meet around 12. Bye.